Hello, it is your sleepless god, back with What If Percy Was Trained by Persephone and Hades, part whatever it was. So, highly interesting. So, what happened last time was Tyson was dead. Tyson's dead. And Percy, with this just feeling of grief and anger, and can't really think straight. When they finally went to a new island, they it was kind of like just a flowing moment. It didn't really it's not really he's not really thinking of what he needs to do right now in this current era. He's just trying to finish the mission as fast as possible. So when he got to this island, heard with Cece and the other women on this island, he didn't give a shit until he realized Cece was a great sorcerer that did a lot of bad things and did a lot of bad things with men, because men in her eyes are pigs, and because pigs are a little bit dirty, guinea pigs are a little bit less dirtier than actual pigs. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, then Percy beheaded her after Cece tried to cast gray magic with him, and it didn't work because of the magical eye that his mother or that Persephone gave him. It counteracts magic. At least the particular types of magic that most people want to cast. It still affects, but just less. Uh, as Annabeth and the rest charged in and turned the rest of the guinea pigs back to normal people, as they got on the new boat that they got, the Queen's End Revenge, uh, and started sailing off again to the location that, to a basically not random to say, but uh, I I haven't mentioned this yet because it's kind of stupid, but the only reason they know what they need to go is because Luke has a connection to uh, a physical and emotional and soul connection to a Grover, and he can feel the pull of them, and the closer they get, the stronger the pull, like gravitational pull. This is the only reason in the entire world that they know where they're fucking going. After they got onto the Green End's Revenge, uh, he kind of broke down, per se. Let's start the video there. Him on the Queen's End Revenge. He broke down because when he got the boat sailing, he got the boat across, and when the pirates got so far away that he couldn't see him anymore, he went down to the bottom deck and just sat on one of his the beds that more like a hammock in a sense of the word, and he broke down. Not in the way like we think, like crying, like, oh my gosh, my brother. No, he just sat there and just thought until Annabeth came around and just said, I heard what you tried to do with Cece. I know you're worried about your brother, but you can't do that. As he's like holding his hands tight as nothing, his knuckles. He says, why not? He says, he looks at Percy and just says, because it's not fair for them. It's all those memories of it, just those words alone cause like just a memory sword. It's just a memory pop up, like just, oh my gosh, because like in the underworld there's so many souls, and for him to see that as a young child and going up into teenager years, he understands that like so many of them try to bring the dead back to life. A couple of the stories, and just says that never works because not all the time the dead wants to come back, especially the dead doesn't want to come back. He's talked so much dead that the dead's just like, I don't want to come back to the real world. He says, why not? He says, because this one is at least I know what's going on in this one. I'm at least doing something in this one. If it's just standing still or pushing a boulder or in heaven, I'm at least doing something. In the other world, I have no hopefulness. At least I'm at the end. Some people really like to be at the end of the race. But some people like to be reborn and all that stuff. But Percy says, as he just lands on his knees, and he doesn't cry. He's been taught at a very young age just to hold in to his emotions like fire and flames, to hold it in with his hands, but he can't stop himself. He holds it in as long as he can. The fire gets so great it feels like it's gonna burn his hand until he starts crying, and as Percy just holds it and holds it. His chest feels like it's aching. His body feels like it's breaking. As he feels like he failed for another time. As Annabeth holds him so tight. And this is when she tells him the story of why she hates Cyclopes, as he's holding Percy together. And she tells him the story about that's when the hellhounds and the other monsters got so close, is because Grover took the wrong turn. And kind of made it a little bit laughy, but kind of made it a little bit funny. It made them separate from each other. And when Annabeth found them, it was Talia and Luke and Grover hanged up by the fire, cooking, getting ready to get eaten. And the only reason they saved is because Annabeth, at the young age, stabbed that Cyclopes in the foot and rescued his friends. As it gave a lifting spirit to it. Like, she knew this story would never keep him like together emotionally and physically, but it would at least give him some hope, because compared to that Cyclopes and compared to other Cyclopes, maybe, especially Polyphemus, that's the thing that they're going to meet, Tyson was so much better. So he was holding Percy as he's telling this story, as when it ended, Percy was laughing. I was laughing so hard, in fact, it was weird in a sense where he was laughing. He was like, he was trying to laugh, but it was hurting. It was hurting to laugh, even. But he smiled at the same time as he wiped away his tears, as that flame in his heart that was burning so bright and making him emotionless and feel nothing and making his chest hurt dimmed a little bit more and dimmed a little bit more as Annabeth and him talked and talked and talked. Annabeth talking about her father and his stepmother becoming better sometimes, but still staying in the same path sometimes. And Percy talking about the underworld and how that lived like. Because Percy never talked about the underworld. He never really talked about it. He doesn't talk about how he got the time stop ability, aka replacing his heart. He doesn't talk about that because he doesn't want to scare Annabeth. But he talks about his eye, how he got that, and he talks about the chains because those are physical things that actually look different. He talks about the scars too. Oh yeah, this one is the first time I ever fought a hellhound. I was so ready because I've always heard about him, and I lost my footing and I got cut. As Annabeth smiles at the same way, it looks completely strange because not a normal kid. It's not like a normal kid's life. And at the end, he starts talking about the last summer that he had with Tyson. He's like explaining what he did with Tyson, because Tyson was a big oaf. So what was it? And he explained what he did with Tyson, like training wise, but more like friend wise, because Percy was more friendly with the Cyclopes because he knew what Tyson was. He sent him. They walked around the city. He tried to get Tyson to skateboard with him, but not successfully. 2 skateboards down that he broke, and a lot of cringing by Percy, he walked through the forests and made helped him deal with his building stuff, as Annabeth talked about her summer as well, as he missed Percy because of his funny nature and just making him better, but also how it feels like Percy himself is the only way Annabeth can talk to without feeling like I have to hold back, because sometimes it's secrets I have to hold. And while they're talking like this and how they're kind of getting closer together, they hear a yell from Luke, saying that they should get some shut-eye, because it's going to be a long journey ahead, as both of them falls asleep in separate rooms, obviously, as Luke starts talking to Percy. But more like bro talk. Just kind of cracking some jokes, but more like just trying to explain to Percy that loss happens and he should deal with them. But with the overall conversation with Annabeth, he already kind of feels that he's getting prepared. So when he falls asleep that night, and he dreams of his brother, he wasn't prepared for him to dream of his brother underneath the water. All he hears is bang, 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 underneath the water. Bang, bang, bang. As he gets closer, he yells, but he can't because the water in his mouth. Tyson, Tyson. As it's clogging his throat. This shouldn't have happened. He can breathe under. Tyson, Tyson. As it bang, 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 bang. As all of Tyson. And then Tyson looks up and says, Percy, I will find you. As he smiles and holds up his big hands, when a baby or even a toddler walks up to you and sticks up his hands, like he's gonna get ready for picking you up. You cannot say no. You cannot say no. He grabs Percy and he holds him. He says, I will find you. But he sounds like he's going from miles away. Percy can barely hear him through the water, as all he sees, and then bang, Percy gets woken up, and he looks over and he sees Luke. He sees Talia, and Talia's saying, hey, we gotta get ready. And he says, ready for what? Are we there at the island or near him? He says, no, but we are close to the sirens. As he says, what does that mean? He says, come upstairs. As when they come upstairs, Annabeth is already prepared. What I mean by prepared is she's already tied up by the mass, and Talia and Luke are like, what the sirens do is they show your greatest desire. For normal people, it's not necessary to even, so they usually pass by and kill and try to cover their ears or something. As Luke shows some earplugs things that they found in the ship that could work. But with Annabeth, because she wants to know her greatest, for say, problem, we're gonna tie her up and she can listen to it. As Percy says, okay. Why don't, okay, wait, question. I could do this myself, but what about you guys? Why don't you, do you want to see your greatest thing? He says, as Percy sees both of them look at each other, he says, we both already know each other's. He says, don't make this ushy mushy, but is it like you two? As Talia says, no, it's not. My greatest fault is him, and his greatest fault is me. That's not the fucking stupid part. My greatest fault is my brashness. I've tried to fix it as well as I've could, but I can't fix it as well as I can. I don't think into engagements as well if people are people that I love, and plus I blame people that I think caused the problem, but it might have been just myself. I get angry quite quickly too. That's my mortal flaw. My brashness, my anger, my wrath. That's my mortal flaw. As Luke looks over and says, yeah, and my mortal flaw is I believe everything is very kind of weird. I kind of, as Talia grabs his shoulder and says, go ahead. He says, well, it's not a thing I do, but it's an action I can cause. I feel like I can be better than the gods. Like I could overthrow them. But what it truly means is my mortal flaw is envy. I envy the gods for having their power but not using it. I envy the people around me to be happy sometimes and me to be sad. I envy the sky to be free. My mortal flaw is envy. I envy everything. So what do you think your mortal flaw is? And he kind of shrugs his shoulder. Percy doesn't know. For really true sakes, he's never even thought about what he was trying to fight. He says, I have no idea. He says, like, do you want to try? And he says, probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't try. Because I want to find it out myself in battle. I want to try it myself. Because if I find it out this way, I don't think it'd be the best. As he's like, okay. So he hands him the earplugs, the all earplugs, and they set up to the sirens and they hear the song. Well, Annabeth does at least. Now, it is painful for Percy to see that. So Percy has to look away. And while Percy looks away, he didn't realize, but the rest looked away as well. As while the rest looked away, Annabeth pulled out her dagger. That no one realized why didn't strip search her and take her dagger away, because it's literally a common weapon that she uses, and everyone forgot about it. It cuts the lines. As when Percy kind of hears not hears it, but feels the footsteps with the ship, looks over and sees Annabeth diving into the water. As Percy, before he can even do anything, jumps into, as using his awkward waterness to get through all of them, and get through the bombs and the things, and finally get to Annabeth and grab her before she sees the sirens. But when he grabs Annabeth, he can see his mortal desire of him, her, in a beautiful city, with her family normalized, with with his dad, with his mom, his true mom, and realizes that's what her desire is. It's not like Luke's where he's envy. She believes she's better than anyone else and she could do better than anyone else. You can see it in the image as the image changes, as it changes to his. But he looks away, and because of the earplugs and the water, he can't hear the siren's voice, so it tries to change, but it doesn't. As he says, oh wait, as he pulls Annabeth down to the water, further and further and further, and he just holds Annabeth there as Annabeth starts to, bubbles start coming up, as Annabeth squeals as she finally passes out. And Annabeth says, as Percy says, I'm so sorry, as he swims up, pushes out the water, lands onto the ship, as Annabeth is passed out because of oxygen, still breathing, luckily. As the two says, oh God, thank you so much. He says, no worries, as Siren's song starts hearing, as he plugs his ears real quick, as he looks back, as the siren song starts fading away, as they finally, Luke and Talia take out their earplugs, as they finally make it, as when after they sail for a good hour, Luke finally looks at this island and says, it's here. Rover is here. As this is where we're ending off the video now. I hope you guys like it. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe as well. Do the YouTube thingamajiggies. Remember, other things are coming out as well. Hope you guys like these videos that are coming out. And I got one more that was given me from a friend. Has not made a channel yet, even though I'm begging him to because he has such great ideas. If you guys know a Jujutsu Kaisen and you know the main character, he thought of giving Carnage to the main character of a Jujutsu Kaisen, and I think it's a beautiful idea. I just have to catch up with the next season and the movie that just came out, but I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.